Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. Today, we will delve into the fascinating pages of the Bible to explore an intriguing and often overlooked chapter, the story of David's only daughter, as recorded in the book of 2 Samuel. Get ready to be surprised, shocked, and left speechless, as this narrative reveals deep layers of King David's life that many are unaware of. Stay tuned as we uncover the mysteries, emotions, and challenges faced by this unique female figure in the biblical context, the painful story of lust and revenge involving Tamar and Absalom. The story of David's only daughter. The story of Tamar and Absalom in the Bible is a tragic narrative that addresses themes of lust and revenge. These biblical accounts serve as warnings about the consequences of the company we keep, with few being as dramatic as the saga of Tamar and Absalom. Both were children of David but had different mothers. Absalom was the son of Maacah, while Amnon was the son of Ahinoam, making them half-siblings. Amnon harbored a strong desire for Tamar, his beautiful half-sister and Absalom's full sister. In the course of the story, Absalom, David's son, also had a beautiful sister named Tamar, and Amnon, also David's son, fell in love with her. Amnon became obsessed with Tamar, but her virginity made it impossible for him to approach her. However, Amnon relied on the cunning of Jonadab, the son of Shimeah and David's brother, to help him. Jonadab, sensing Amnon's distress, advised him to feign illness and ask Tamar to prepare food for him, allowing him to eat directly from her hands. This episode is described in 2 Samuel, chapters 13, verses 1-5. Absalom, whose name means, the peace of his father, and Amnon, meaning, faithful and stable, did not live up to their names. Despite Jonadab's cunning, his disastrous advice triggered a series of unfortunate events. Jonadab, Amnon's cousin, proved to be a harmful advisor, as highlighted by a well-known biblical commentator who described him as a carnal friend and spiritual enemy. This episode serves as a warning that friends can lead to spiritual errors, and even well-intentioned friends can offer false comfort and bad advice, as was seen with Job's friends, increasing his suffering in displeasing the Lord. According to Paul's words, it is vital not to be deceived, as bad company has the power to corrupt good morals, as emphasized in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33. Reflecting on the relationship between Absalom and Tamar, we realize that if Absalom was considered a brother, then clearly Tamar was also seen as a sister. However, lust distorted Amnon's perspective, leading him to not recognize Tamar as his sister but rather as Absalom's sister. The power of lust is so strong that it can distort our perception of the world around us. Under the influence of lust, Amnon committed an evil act. Jonadab, an accomplice in wickedness, suggested to Amnon to arrange a deceitful encounter with Tamar. Although they did not explicitly express the need to force Tamar, the shared wickedness revealed that both harbored the same perverse thoughts. Amnon feigned illness, and when the king visited him, he requested the presence of Tamar to prepare food. David then sent Tamar to Amnon's house, where she carefully prepared and served the meal. However, Amnon refused to eat in the presence of others. He ordered everyone to leave and asked Tamar to bring the food to his room. Upon entering with the food, Amnon seized Tamar and insisted that she lie with him. Despite Tamar's resistance, she was violated by Amnon. This tragic incident is detailed in 2 Samuel, chapter 13, verses 6-14. It seems that David adopted a tolerant attitude towards his children, perhaps feeling guilty due to the large number of wives, children, and state responsibilities. This lack of paternal attention may have contributed to the tragic circumstances surrounding his children. Amnon promptly followed Jonadab's malicious advice. Unfortunately, people do not always react the same way when receiving divine counsel. After heeding his false friend's guidance, Amnon's wickedness was revealed. Tamar, aware of the immorality and shame of the situation, resisted, but Amnon, blinded by lust, failed to recognize the obvious. A trap was set at the request of the royal family, and the innocent Tamar was led to her supposedly sick half-brother's room. This episode is detailed in 2 Samuel, chapters 13, verses 15 to 18, in the New American Standard Bible. After the act, Amnon intensely hated Tamar, revealing that his feelings for her were based on lust, not love. Amnon was interested in Tamar only for what he could obtain from her. In many lust-based relationships, there is a mix of love and desire, but in Amnon, lust prevailed. His remorse stemmed from never truly loving Tamar but being solely motivated by lust. Tamar became a constant reminder of his own foolishness. Seeking to distance himself from any reminder of his sin, Amnon treated Tamar with disdain. She, deserving of better treatment as an Israelite, relative, and sister, was disregarded by Amnon. This passage is found in 2 Samuel, chapters 13, verses 19 to 20. After the terrible incident, Tamar, distressed, covered herself in ashes and tore her royal garments, leaving in mourning. Her brother, Absalom, consoled her, remaining silent about the incident, although he was already planning to avenge Amnon. David, furious, did not punish Amnon as he should have, perhaps still processing his own previous sin. Aware of his responsibility, David felt unable to act, as intentional sin robs us of moral freedom and the ability to testify freely. This passage is in 2 Samuel, chapters 13, verses 21 to 22. Upon hearing all this, David was furious but took no action against Amnon, possibly recognizing his own guilt in similar circumstances and feeling he had no moral authority to reprimand his son. For 2 years, Absalom planned his revenge against Amnon for what he did to Tamar. Using similar cunning to Amnon's, Absalom invited David to allow Amnon and all the king's sons to attend a feast, making David partially responsible for the encounter, just as Amnon had done. David allowed Tamar to visit him with food during the feast when Amnon was merry with wine. At this opportune moment, Absalom ordered his servants to kill Amnon, thus fulfilling his revenge. This passage is in 2 Samuel, chapters 13, verses 28 to 29. Astutely, Absalom, the executor, waited for the right moment to act against Amnon, who was likely looking forward to the encounter with Absalom but relaxed after drinking wine. At the right moment, Absalom ordered Amnon's death, and his plan was executed, resulting in Amnon's demise. As a consequence of David's sin, God pronounced that the sword would constantly remain over his house, as mentioned in 2 Samuel 12 verse 10. This episode, fulfilling that prophecy, is narrated in 2 Samuel 13 verses 30 to 36. Upon receiving the news of the death of all the king's sons, David experienced deep sorrow. However, Jonadab, the son of Shemiah and David's brother, promptly communicated that only Amnon was dead, a result of Absalom's revenge for the outrage committed against Tamar. Absalom fled, and David, along with his servants, mourned intensely. David's reaction, marked more by grief than incredulity, suggests that he might have been aware of Absalom's potential malevolence. Jonadab, possibly seeking to gain David's trust, conveyed the news that only Amnon had perished. However, God knew that Jonadab had triggered the entire series of events with his malicious counsel to Amnon. Upon learning of Amnon's death, the heir to the throne, David was devastated. David's omission in reprimanding Amnon contributed to this tragedy. If David had applied the discipline prescribed by scriptures, as in Exodus 22 verses 16 to 17 and Deuteronomy 22 verses 28 to 29, Absalom might not have felt so free to impose his own brutal correction. Absalom fled to Gezer, ruled by Talmai, the son of Ammihud, the king of the region. Remarkably, he did not seek refuge in a designated city of refuge since he was guilty, and cities of refuge were intended to protect the innocent. Absalom's choice to seek refuge in Gezer was influenced by the fact that his mother was the daughter of the king of that land. This narrative can be found in 2 Samuel 13 verses 31 to 36. The Bible offers prudent advice on choosing friendships, warning against association with quick-tempered individuals, as evidenced in Proverbs 22 verses 24 to 25. Proverbs 1 and 4 also counsel us to avoid those who lead us astray. It is crucial to avoid association with wrongdoers, regardless of the tempting rewards they may offer. Those whose steps lead to sin should be avoided at all costs. The path of righteousness is the only one that leads to friendship with God. Human relationships are precious, providing joy, peace, inspiration, and support in difficult times. However, it is vital to carefully consider who we allow into our personal lives. This will determine whether we maintain our current friendships or abandon them. It is worth noting that having the wrong friends does not necessarily make them inherently bad or evil, but not everyone is suitable to accompany us in the pursuit of God's will. Some points to consider are that the right company can energize and support during challenging times. In times of adversity, the right people will pray and encourage prayer, suggesting the pursuit of the divine and standing by, confident that all will be well. When Peter and John faced persecution for preaching the gospel, they may have initially felt discouraged. However, upon returning to their circle of friends, they found renewed energy to continue their mission. In contrast, some people may either abandon or encourage wrongdoing, making things even more complicated. An example of this is Job's wife, who became a negative influence, encouraging him to curse God and die, as recorded in Job 2:9. A true friend will take care of you and ensure that nothing harmful happens. Jonathan, for instance, was there to defend and protect David when he was in danger, demonstrating what a true friend does, as seen in 1 Samuel 20. On the other hand, the wrong company will do everything to bring down a friend or brother, as illustrated in the unforgettable betrayal story in Luke 22 verses 47 to 48, where Judas, despite appearing to be a friend and disciple of Jesus, was, in reality, a harmful influence seeking Jesus' death. People who are right for you will always offer constructive advice that helps you improve. An example of this is Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, who gave perfect advice that brought rest and order to the people in the wilderness. On the other hand, the wrong people will give advice that sets us back or leads to destruction, exactly what the devil desires. Unfortunately, this was what happened in the story of Amnon and his sister, where all the evil that followed was a result of the wicked advice given by the wrong friend. The right people will always rejoice in your testimony of triumph. The truth is that the wrong people will be upset when God blesses you because they cannot stand to hear good news, wanting all the good for themselves. Choose your friends carefully and be a true friend. Humans were created to be relational, and friendships are an important part of our lives. We need friends, people with whom we share mutual affection, but not every friend is suitable. Having the right friends is essential, and discernment is necessary. The righteous choose their friends carefully, Proverbs 12 verse 26. In Scripture, we see what a true friend should be. A true friend always loves a friend. Proverbs 17 verse 17, gives sincere advice, bringing joy to the heart. Proverbs 27 verse 9, rebukes when necessary, but correction is done with love. Proverbs 27 verses 5 to 6, influences, encourages, and sharpens. Proverbs 27 verse 17, avoids gossip. Proverbs 16 verse 28, forgives and does not hold grudges. Proverbs 17 verse 9, is loyal. Proverbs 18 verse 24, and helps in times of need. Ecclesiastes 4 verses 9 to 12. I hope that this explanation of these verses has helped you reflect and better understand that in the pages of the Holy Scriptures, we find all the answers, even those we are not actively seeking. Thank you for watching until this moment. May God bless you. See you soon.